Hello everyone. Today we'll start about the effects of force. Effects of force. Okay. So in the earlier class we discussed how force exists on the body or on objects. So here, to understand the effect of force, first I'll take a ball here. Okay, a ball is kept on the table now. Now I say it is at rest. It is not moving. So all you know that any object, it itself will not move until and unless some force is acting on it. So here the ball is at rest and it is not moving. Suppose I push it, that means I apply a force on the ball, then it starts moving. And again I have to stop a moving ball, then also I have to apply the force, means I have to hold it like this, isn't it? So that means the force can make an object to move from rest, and that is the effect of the force. Again, if an object is moving, to stop it also I have to catch it or I have to stop it by applying the force. So that means the force can make an object to move. The force can make an object to move from rest. Okay, this is one of the effect of the force. And secondly, suppose I made this ball to move in one direction like this. Again, I can make it to move in opposite direction also. That means force is required to change the direction of a moving object. So that is also the effect of the force only. So secondly, force can change the direction of moving object. And next effect is, so as you know, there are so many vehicles moving on the road. Are they moving in the same speed? If you observe them in local roads, so they may be moving with a certain speed. But if you go in the highway, all the vehicles, it may be bus, a two-wheeler, or a truck, or a car, all that vehicles in the highway roads, are they moving with the same speed? No. So they never maintain the same speed there, but some are moving very high speed and some of the vehicles are not moving with that speed. They may be to the certain limit they move, isn't it? So that means what? With a certain force, the vehicles move in different speeds. Okay, so that means we can change the speed of the vehicles or speed of any objects. If I take a ball, just I push it like this or I throw it, then it will not move with that greater force. Suppose I come running with this ball, then I ball it like this, then it may move with a greater speed. That is why in the cricket match, the bowler applying the larger force on that ball so that it moves very faster, isn't it? So that means what? The speed of an object can be increased or decreased by applying the force only. So that is the third effect. So force can change. Force can change the speed of objects. Speed of the objects means what? It may be ball or it may be anything else. It may be a vehicle or whatever it is. So in vehicle, we have to put the force there. Means we can stop that engine or we can start the engine by putting an accelerator. More, we can increase the speed of the vehicle. So that is how that is applying the force only. The force can change the speed of the object. Either it may decrease the speed or we can increase the speed there. So this is also one of the effect of the force. So next one is the force can change the shape of the objects. So for example, I have taken the spring here. So this is a spring. So I just kept on the table. I have kept it on the table and I press it like this. So when I press it, it is compressed, isn't it? So it is compressed like this. So again, when I stop that pressing, then it comes to its original position. Suppose I press it like this, then also it compressed. The shape you can see now, it looks very smaller. I leave, it becomes a larger. So this means what? When I apply the force on this spring, so when I apply the force on the spring, the shape of the spring can be changed, isn't it? Similarly, I will take a plastic small glass here, so very lightweight. So here when I apply the force, I can change the shape of this thing, shape of this object, isn't it? So similarly, the ball, it is a sponge ball. So here, so when I apply the force on this ball like this or like this, the shape of the ball can be changed. So similarly, so we can take many examples. So by that we can say that the force can change the shape of an object. Okay, so these are the effects of force. Force can make an object to move from rest. Force can change the direction of a moving object. Force can change the speed of the object. Force can change the shape of the object. So here, these two, the first two effects. So these two here, they are referred as state of motion of an object. State of motion. The state of motion of an object. That means what? The state of motion is if the body is at rest, then its speed is considered to be 0. And if the body is moving, the direction can be changed. Its direction can be changed, or the speed, at the same time the speed of an object can be changed there by applying the force. So we say that by applying the force, the state of motion, these two together are considered as a state of motion. By applying the force, the state of motion of a body can be changed. Okay. So now we move to the next concept, that is the types of forces. The types of force. So one is contact force. Contact forces. So contact means if the two objects are in contact with each other, then the force exists there by their contact, then they are said to be contact force. from the ground or from this table. I want to lift this ball. So this is a little bit heavier than this. So I can, which is lighter, I can lift it very easily. But if it is heavier, I have to put my muscular force for both the activities, isn't it? So here, when I come in contact with these two objects, then only they can be lifted or they can be thrown, isn't it? So that is why a muscular force is a force exerted by our muscles, and when we contact with certain objects, then we can lift them, we can throw them. So that is why muscular force is a contact force. And then the second one is the frictional force. The frictional force. Friction means, suppose the object is moving on a smooth surface. Suppose I take this table only. Table here, it is a very smooth surface, and I made this ball. I will make the ball to move on the table. Okay. So here I will take this small ball. I just make it to move on the table, and the table is very smooth. The ball moves very easily without any obstacles. And suppose you just assume that there is a sand surface here, and I made this ball to move on a sand surface. Does it move with the same speed as it is moving on the table? No. So you can imagine that on the sand surface, if you throw the ball will move very slowly, because the sand surface offers there an obstacle to the motion of the ball, and that we call it as a friction. Friction is nothing but an obstacle to the moving body, and if the body is moving in one direction, the friction exerts in the opposite direction. So that is, we call it as a friction. So frictional force come into existence when two bodies are in contact with each other. We will take another example. The example of a vehicle only we take. Suppose a vehicle is moving on the road, and if the road is very nice, very smooth, then the vehicles will move very easily with a higher speed. Okay. And suppose the same road is not good, it is having so many dips and so many humps. What happens? Does the vehicle move there with the same higher speed? No. The vehicle have to pass with the less speed according to the dips and humps there, isn't it? That means what? The friction is more in case of that the local road, where the dips and small humps will be there. Okay, but in highway road, so there are no humps there, so that's why the vehicles move very fast. So that means what? The friction will be more in the local road, whereas less in the highway road. So that is, we call it as a frictional force. The force exerted by the objects, if they are in contact with each other, and because of the friction exists there, and that is called as a frictional force. So these forces are called as a contact forces. So now, non-contact forces. The second type of forces are non-contact forces. So here, the first example is the second type of forces are non-contact forces. That means the forces exist there even if there is no physical contact between the two objects, and such force is called as non-contact force. Example, magnetic force. So here you can see here, even if they are not directly in contact with each other, the iron filings are moving here. So I can make them to move here from one point to another, just moving below this paper a bar magnet. So like this, I can make the iron filings move from one point to another point. So how it is possible? So this is due to the magnetic force existing here. Okay, and then I have taken the two bar magnets here, and each bar magnet will be having one north pole and another one south pole. And if I bring the north pole sides of the two bar magnets very near to each other, then see here. So they will not attract, they repel. So you can see here, they repel, isn't it? They repel each other. Suppose I bring a south pole nearer to the north pole of another bar magnet, you can see they immediately attract each other. See, like this. So that means if the poles are same, that means the like poles, north and north or south and south. So if the two poles are same, then we say like poles. The like poles always repel each other, whereas unlike poles means the north pole and the south pole, they attract each other. So that is all magnetic force only, due to the magnetic force existing there. So here the magnetic force is a non-contact force, and even if the two objects are not actually in contact with each other, it exists. So second example is, the second example is electrostatic force. To understand this, I'll explain you the activity which is given in your textbook only. So here we have to take two pieces of straws. Two pieces of straws. Okay. Two pieces of straws, and one piece of straw we have to suspend it to the stand. So let us assume that this is the stand here. Okay. And we have to suspend with the help of a thread, we have to suspend one piece of straw like this. Okay. And now we have to take this another piece of straw and wrap it to the paper, to the sheet of paper, and then bring it towards this straw which is already suspended here. So when this piece of straw, it is wrapped with a sheet of paper and brought near the straw which is already suspended there, then what happens? They come nearer to each other. This piece of straw, when it is rubbed to the sheet of paper, it gets charged, and when this charged body is brought near the uncharged body, they attract each other, and this attractive force is called electrostatic force. This exists between a charged body and an uncharged body. So here this electrostatic force is also non-contact force. It exists even if there is no contact between the two straws here. Just they are brought nearer. Okay. And the next one is the gravitational force. Gravitational force. So here the gravitational force is also non-contact force. So all of you know that if any objects are thrown upwards, they always tend to move downwards only. Suppose if I take this pen and I just the leaves, when they are detached from the plant, they always move downwards towards the ground. Why is it so? This is because the earth is having the force of attraction towards the bodies on the earth. Always the earth pulls them towards it. So, and that we call it as gravity or the gravitational force. So, even if there is no contact between a body which is moving towards the earth and the earth, then the objects which are always tend to move towards the earth only, and that's why we call it as a non-contact force. The gravitational force is a non-contact force, and it exists always to all the bodies on the earth. We are all influenced by the gravitational force only. So that's why I'm standing here, and you people are moving, sitting down, sitting, jumping, all whatever you do, it is because of the gravitational force existing. And this is a non-contact